Hello and welcome to the 26th installment of my grading of all of the base game cards. If you want insight into the grading system, check out the description or click on the link in the top right hand corner to get to the first video, where I explain it all. But let's get started. There are certain cards that can be super useful in certain situations, but a bad deal otherwise. Mining Expedition is one of them. On the face of it grants 1 oxygen step for 12 plus 3 in C. If you have a use for that steel you get, you only pay 11 in C in total, which is okay value but not amazing. Destroying 2 of your opponent's plants can be really useful, especially in the race for Gardener or the bonus bump. And exactly that bonus bump is one of this card's main use cases. It's the cheapest way of artificially getting an oxygen bump. So if you can combine this with a conversion or the use of an oxygen bumper, you can really cheaply get that free temperature step when your opponents might not expect it. Being the cheapest oxygen bump can also be really useful for when you need to quickly end the game. Mining Expedition as well as greenhouses can allow you to get that last bump to prevent your long game focused opponent to get another gem. Outside of these use cases, this card is in a weird spot. It's too expensive as a development card and too inconsequential as a point card. Of course, Media Group IC and Advanced Alloys can make this card a lot better. But I'd still say that on average this card is just D tier. It has 2 use cases, but outside of those it's kinda useless. Last episode I talked about Mining Area and how picking up the placement bonus with the tile makes this card playable into the late game, especially since it can be used in a fight over Landlord, Desert Settler or Contractor. Its bigger brother Mining Rights is also a really good early game production card that grants great value and has secondary use cases. But there are 2 key differences. Firstly, being able to place it freely makes this card more flexible, and in most use cases better in the super early game. Having a tile down Gen 1 is rare, so in cases where you don't have one to place, Mining Rights is better than its smaller brother. The second difference is its price. If you have another tile Gen 1 like Restricted Area, then Mining Area is a much better deal. Also, when fighting for awards in the last gen, you almost always have tiles down already, and if you planned ahead, you will surely be able to place Mining Area. Then, of course, it's better than its bigger brother for the awards. But all in all, I think all of these factors average out, and Mining Rights also lands in B tier. Miranda Resort can be really good in the right scenario. Either when you have already played a few Earth tags and it's still reasonably early in the game. Then it can act as a good development card, especially if you can use some titanium. In contrast, it can also help to swing Banker in the super late game. But of course, in both situations, it's not nearly as good as Cartel, which is considerably cheaper and comes with an Earth tag itself. But there's another reason to play it. It has a Jovian tag, which can score up to 4 extra points depending on how many Jovian multipliers you get. But all in all, there are better cards for all of these use cases, and there are many situations in which this card just doesn't do anything, for example in Rush. In total, I'd rate Miranda Resort C tier. Speaking of rushing, one of the best early game cards for Rush is Mohole Area. Why is it so great? First of all, it grants you a temperature bump every other gen on its own. In the base game, there are just 2 other cards that can do that, or more, and those are significantly more expensive. And secondly, and this also factors into the relatively low cost of Mohole Area, it has some flexibility in letting you choose which placement bonus you want to pick up. 2 titanium reduces the total cost of this card to 17. Compare that to import of advanced GHG. You get double the effect for less than 1.5 times of the price. But alternatively, you can also pick up cards, steel or plants, whatever fits best into your current situation. Mohole Area is just a really good deal, and one of the most influential early game cards in the game. And that's my main gripe with it. It is a dedicated early game card that falls off in value in the mid game and is completely useless in the late game, except in edge cases for some awards like Thermalist, Landlord or Contractor. All in all, I think Mohole Area is an A tier card. What's the cheapest single plant prod in the base game? If you guessed Moss, you're correct. The fascinating thing is that this card can also be played rather early, requiring only 3 oceans, which can sometimes even happen in Gen 1. Of course, the fact that this card also eats a plant is what balances it out. This means that without viral enhancers, this card does not grant you more plants in the following gen than you would have had without playing it. This also means that in contrast to the many mid-game plant cards that also grant instant plants, in addition to prod, Moss falls off insanely hard in value in the mid to late game. But since it's so cheap and also comes with a plant tag, which is part of the best combo in the game, Moss can sometimes also be valuable rather late. All in all, this card is one I almost always like to see in the early game. It falls off in the mid game, except if I've got the whole green combo set up already. For me, it's high C tier. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments whether you agree with my ratings, or if not, how you would have rated them differently. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing. And lastly, please check out my Twitch and my Twitter. See you in the next video.